Before we dive into this episode, we wanted to take the opportunity to say a heartfelt thank you for being here. Whether you've been with us from the very beginning when we started this podcast in 2019 or you're new, welcome.
We hope you enjoy what you hear, and if you do, please download it, share it with friends, and leave a review. It really helps us get better guests and share the midlife love. Today, we're tackling a tricky subject: separation after infidelity. This episode was inspired by a workshop we were asked to run for a corporate client on the subject, and despite the tough emotional angle, we were blown away by the engagement from participants, so we thought we'd share what we talked about here. This isn't about blame or picking apart what went wrong. It's about recognizing that when trust is broken, it doesn't just affect the relationship. It can shake your sense of self, safety, and reality.
You might be feeling everything right now: anger, confusion, perhaps even a bit of relief, or nothing at all. So in this episode, we'll try to help you make sense of what you're feeling so you can start finding your footing again. So this is not about having all the answers, but about being compassionate as you move along your own individual journey of healing.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
It's me, Claire. How are you? We're recording this a little bit late. We're still going to get it out the weekend.
We are.
A bit late.
If you're listening to this today, then it's fresh. This is hot out of the oven. We recorded it this morning.
It is hot out of the oven.
It's hot out of the oven. And our excuse for that is, listen, it's only, I think, a couple of weeks since we got back, and it has been crazy
Got back
busy.
to London from Ibiza. If you haven't listened to any other podcast before this one, we've just got back from 5 months away in Ibiza to lovely London, but it has been a bit crazy.
Yes,
hasn't it?
yeah. So we've been running workshops for various organisations, coaching our clients, getting involved in some other projects, which are really exciting.
I now work part-time a couple of days a week, which has been really, really exciting for me. I'm so excited by the role. But it's just been a lot, hasn't it?
It's been a lot, but it's
unpacking feels like it's been going on and on and on, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, you thought you'd unpacked. Oh, no, here's another box. Oh, here's another box. But it's totally fine now.
I think is it only 2 weeks since we left?
Yeah, no.
3 weeks.
It's longer ago. 3 weeks today that we left Ibiza, but then obviously we drove back and it took quite a while to get back, and then we stayed with my parents for a bit. So it's 2 weeks that we've been back in London. So there we are. So today we are going to speak to you and share with you something that we this is one of our workshops that we've done. We're going to do it a little bit differently, but one of the workshops that we've done for a recent client of ours. And we were asked to do it by them because we've done some stuff with them before. And we thought that this might be a good one to share with you, not because we are necessarily complete experts in this. And this isn't our one singular focus field, basically, but we do work with clients around this. We've had lots of professional experience around this, but we've also had our personal experience around this. So we wanted to share it with you. And James, would you like to tell them what we're going to be talking to them about today?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So a client actually came to us and asked, would you run a workshop around this? And it's around separation after infidelity. Like, how do you pick yourself up again? What kind of impact does infidelity in a relationship have on you? And how do you find your way forward? So we thought actually we really enjoyed, like, the engagement when we ran this for the client was super high. So we thought, let's do it as a podcast.
Yeah, and it is like literally, as I said, we do have quite a lot of coaching clients that, because it's midlife, right?
Mm.
A lot of coaching clients that are going through separation, divorce, and maybe it's been because of infidelity, maybe not. And it could have been one side or the other side. But I think it's just a helpful one to make you feel perhaps a little bit less alone if you are going through this. We even know people that are going through this right now that are close to us. And if you are going through something like this, we just want you to know that you're not alone. And I hope that this podcast will help somewhat in your challenges and your struggles today. So let's dive in, because actually, this isn't an easy place to arrive at all. Separation after infidelity is it's not just a breakup; it's a shift in trust, and we're specifically talking about when this has been done to you, and it's that shift in trust. It's a shift in identity, self-worth. And you're dealing with, this is the big one, and I think it's that loss of trust in them, but also yourself. Like, how could I have let this happen? How could I not have seen this happening? What did I miss? And there's a loss in trust, in life in general, of what feels certain. So we have these unsettled questions ruminating over and over again in a really negative, unhelpful loop without any real resolution. And another thing we can have is these conflicting emotions that are incredibly strong, but incredibly shifting and sometimes contradictory. So in one moment, you could be feeling one way, and then blink of an eye, literally, you're feeling something else. And this can make you feel so confused and very, very all over the place. So just talking about like what this podcast session is going to be about, this recording, it's not about analysing what went wrong in the relationship. That's not what we want to do for you today. And it's not about deciding what should or shouldn't have happened or assigning blame or reaching conclusions. And that might sound a little bit harsh, but we want this podcast to be about you, how you can stabilize where you're at right now, make sense of your emotional experience, get some of your power back, get some of your, self-worth and self-love, really, and supporting you to move forward at your own pace. Because one of the things I want to say is a lot of the time we're going to be hearing a lot of noise when we go through a breakup. We're going to be hearing a lot of noise from everyone else. Those people that love you might be very angry with you. They might be giving you lots of advice, some helpful, quite a lot probably not. So there's a lot of voices at you, and you might be on the internet, you might be in groups, you're going to be hearing a lot of that kind of stuff as you go through this process. But this is about you. So what we would say is just don't compare yourself or your journey through this with anyone else's. It is so individual, so individual. So we want to just help you and support you to move forward at your own pace. So you might be feeling there's no like correct response to infidelity, by the way. People process this in profoundly different ways, and every response is different. You might feel devastated and shocked. I'm sure you do. Angry, numb, perhaps relief. Perhaps relief, like finally I thought something was off, but now it's almost like I know that there was something going on and I wasn't just mad. And you might oscillate between all of these things within the space of a few moments.
Absolutely. And, we also acknowledge there's a huge emotional impact here because, of course, this is something that affects the relationship, but really it ripples out far beyond that. It touches your sense of self, right? Your foundation in who you are. It's going to make you examine your relationships to your partner who's been cheating on you, but also, to the rest of the world. And so what we feel isn't an overreaction. It's natural and expected to a profound life disruption. It's, your sense of self, your sense of safety, the ground beneath you shifted, that certainty you thought you had, that joint future you'd had in your mind is suddenly scattered to the wind.
Yeah.
And your sense of reality, you start, and this is human nature, you ruminate back over what was true, what wasn't. Oh, what have I missed? What have I not seen? So all these things can really start to seek to undermine you. There is a potential for a huge emotional impact. And then, as Claire said, the whiplash, the feelings, we can like swing between them really violently. You could feel really clear one moment, right, really level-headed, okay, cold light of day. This is what I need to do, go forward. And the next minute, those emotions can come in. Am I making the right decision? Oh, should I give it another go? What did I do wrong? Listen, this is just your mind working hard to process something that's actually
Mm.
huge, enormous. So it's normal. So just give yourself some compassion around that. You've got broken expectations, that loss of certainty, that shaken trust. And it's not just trust in the other person who's done this,
Yeah, it's like,
but you trust in yourself. Like you doubt your own judgment and your own sense of self-worth. You can feel like, how did I not see this? How have I allowed this to happen to me?
and I think just on this, we talk a lot in our podcast about our subconscious mind wanting that sense of safety, right? And so this is what your brain is doing. It's trying to reach a space where it feels safer. And so in order to do that, it's going to be like rampantly seeking answers, like trying to grab information, piece it together. And here's the thing. How it pieces information together isn't always true, and it isn't always helpful, and it isn't always correct. This is your lens, and it's valid and it's true for you, but it's trying to grasp for some sense of security. Your subconscious mind's sole purpose is to keep you safe. And right now you don't feel safe. So it's going to be scattered all over the place, trying as hard as you can to reach for some certainty. And this can play out in so many different ways, to the point where, even down to the physical, where it's looking for some safety and some security and some comfort. So you might be like overeating at the moment. You might be like trying to numb yourself out by going through doom scrolling. You might just be like in avoidance altogether. Or you might be obsessing over things. There's all these ways that your brain will try to be seeking some sense of safety for itself. And this is all totally normal.
Yeah, I'd say with the disruption you've had to your sense of self and your central nervous system, you're going to oscillate between, right? And this is what your mind's meant to do. It's trying to process so you find a new set level. And
Yeah.
also remember, there's three versions of the truth. There's the other person's version of the truth, your version of the truth, and the objective truth. And the thing is, in this situation, you might never know the objective truth, and we'll come on to that.
Yeah, well, this
But
is
just
what you're
worth
about.
remembering, because this search for answers it can be a big part of this.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this is what and you're gonna recognize this. The search for answers
Yeah.
can drive you utterly, utterly insane. But again, it's part of the process.
Yeah, and it's human nature, we want to know why did this happen? Why? We need the answer, right? That's human nature. So we replay events in our head, we give them
Mm,
new significance, we give them new meaning. We cast doubt on stuff. Oh, that time when we were together, did that really
mm.
mean that? Oh, when they said they were going off to that thing, were they going to that thing or were they doing something else? You look for those signs you missed and you ask yourself, why again and again? Listen, it's completely natural. Your mind's trying to restore order, right? You've been shaken. But here is the hard truth. Clarity is rarely possible. And I'm going to say,
Mm.
even I think you have to make peace with the fact you are never going to know the truth, right? Never. Even if the other person says they're being honest with you, they might have their own reasons for not being completely honest.
Mm.
And I think it's incredibly hard, but you have to find your way to make peace with that, because that relentless search for answers can end up just keeping you stuck in a loop rather than helping you move forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that when James is even saying that, like I can feel the pain of that. It's like, and also one of the questions that I would ask to myself, it was like, what does this say about me?
Mm.
Like, what does this say? Like, that's the question that kept coming up for me. What does this say about me? Why was someone else chosen over me? And that the answer to that question particularly is going to drive you mad because you're not going to get one. No, there's going to be no resolution to that question that you're going to find that's going to make you ever feel any better. And in time there is that level of acceptance and surrender that you're not going to find that answer. It's not something that is that they're ever going to give you, and you're going to understand. But in time, you'll grow in confidence and courage and self-worth again after
Yeah.
a while.
And listen, it's natural to get stuck in these, I guess, what we call them negative questioning, negative thought
Mhm.
loops. Of course, that's natural. It's the way our psychology is formatted. But let's reframe it. Instead of asking it, why did this happen? Over and over and over,
Mm.
shifting it, what do I need right now? What do I need? What's going to support me? What's going to help me feel steadier? Focus on the things that are going to move you forward rather than trying to analyze and break down the past.
Absolutely. Um, and like we've kind of touched on this already, but trust, I think, I think the most debilitating part of this trust, and James and I both said this at two separate things, we're repeating it, but it is that self-trust of that it actually hits you the hardest. It's like my instincts. I thought I was switched on. I thought I knew this person. I instinctively and intuitively thought this X, Y, and Z, but like, how did I not know this, see this, feel this? Or why did I miss this? And so that really does rock the foundations of that trust in yourself, and that's a really, really hard thing to deal with. But I just want to say that rebuilding of your self trust will come. You just need to give it time. And it isn't an all or nothing thing. We're going to keep repeating this. It is such an individual journey, this. And you might feel like you're taking two steps forward again in like building your self trust, your self worth, your self love. And then you might go three steps back and stay there for a bit and have to and feel like, hang on a minute, I thought I'd done all of this work. I thought I'd done all of this kind of like building my self-trust and my intuition, and I might have got this thing wrong again. How have I got that wrong again? And instead of just going one step back, you tumble all the way back again. But I want to know, each time you do fall back, you are learning something new about yourself, right? You are building resilience. Because this isn't just about self-trust, it's about building that resilience again. And I tell you what, one of the things that you might not want to hear but is true, and it's true with everyone we've ever seen go through something like this, any challenge, not just kind of like a breakup after infidelity. But one of the things that is always true is you are stronger, more aware, more resilient. You are a different new creation in a better way, in some senses, maybe not in all senses, but in some senses you are stronger and more resilient after this because you've learned a lot about yourself. So one of the things we would say is notice and pay attention to what feels right or wrong in your body and mind. This is some of the ways that you can start building trust in yourself again. Pay attention to what feels right or wrong in your body, not necessarily your mind or your heart, but in your body. Tune into your own needs, even if they're quiet or uncertain. You've got create some space. Create some space sometimes. I know it can be frightening to create space because you're worried about all those thoughts and emotions that are going to come up, but do try and tune into your own needs, even when you feel uncertain, and protect your boundaries. This is so important, listeners. Please protect your boundaries. You've probably let people walk all over them for a long time, not just your ex, but this is an opportunity for you to start prioritizing what makes you feel safer, more in control, and choose those small, consistent decisions for yourself each day. Like James said, what's going to make me feel safer right now? What's going to help me right now? Don't think about tomorrow, but the right now. Also, just, knowing that self-blame, oh my goodness, that guilt, that blame. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? How could I have prevented this? How was this my fault? These are painful questions. Let's not try and hide from them. But like James and I have said already, replaying them over and over and over again isn't going to be helpful. It's not going to help your body, your mind, your soul, your heart. One of the things that we just want to remind you of is this truth. Infidelity is a choice that wasn't made by you in this circumstances of what we're talking about here in this podcast. It was a choice not made by you, and you're not responsible for their actions. Things will get better with time, but don't take on the guilt. Like, you're going through the pain and the heartbreak. Don't also lump on the guilt that this was somehow your fault. If they are telling you this is your fault, get a different opinion. Because here's the thing, they will want to shift blame. They are going to be, potentially, I hope this is true for all people. They're going to be feeling shitty about what they've done. Let's hope that they have some morals. But because they're feeling this way, they are also going to probably want to be shifting some blame or all of the blame onto you because they can't handle what they've done. Don't allow that. It was not your choice.
No. Now, obviously, with infidelity, you might decide to give it another go, or you might decide that you're going to separate. Now, if you separate, if the relationship's been any kind of length, there might be multiple reasons that you've got to stay connected. For many people, it's not a clean break. It's not that simple.
No.
Life is going to keep you tethered together. If you've got children, obviously, you now got to figure out how you co-parent. You've got to reconfigure a relationship in a completely new form. There'll be finances, so that will all need sorting out. Things like shared accounts, assets, debts. That's going to require a bit of coordination for a period of time while you untangle yourselves from each other. And then, of course, the legal processes, agreements, court dates, paperwork. So you're going to have to figure out. So the finances and legal process, that's kind of a short-term thing, but you have to figure out that communication process while it's still emotionally raw for you. And here's the thing, emotional closure and practical separation can move at very different speeds. The practical stuff can happen very fast. It might be complex, it might take a time, but you can be quite detached from it. It's like, okay, we need to get that legal document in place. We need to shut down this account. I need to open this account, whatever. But you might be still feeling that emotional intensity, hurt, anger, betrayal, grief that comes in waves, sense of loss. So what you've got to try and do, it's really hard. I know this is really hard, but separate that emotional flow from the practical. You want to handle those practical conversations calmly. You want to make clear-headed decisions. If you need to, pause. Don't ever feel pressured to make a decision. If someone says, I need to know the answer now, because people will say that. It's human nature. We said this already. We want answers. So if you're not sure, the other person's going, I need the answer. Just say, you know what? I need time to think about it. I'll get back to you. You're going to make a better decision if you don't rush it. And prioritize and protect your own well-being. This is something we talk about all the time, but it can be the first thing to go because we're feeling such stress that we're like, we reach for the comfort food, exercise goes out the window, we stop, doing our gratitude, whatever. You want to do the opposite. You want to double down on this stuff because I know it seems really hard, but it's going to give you more resilience, make you feel more positive if you're looking after yourself. So prioritize that. So how can you practically communicate? You need to separate emotions and logistics, like we said. Like, put your emotional state to one side as much as you can and just focus on the practical. Stay task focused. Pause before responding and use written communication. The trouble with phone calls is you're not in control of that conversation. It's a two-way thing. And then, afterwards it can be he said, she said, who really knows? So just make sure for the practical stuff, everything is in writing.
And so just on the co-parenting stuff, this is obviously something that James and I didn't have to deal with, quite frankly. And our heart really goes out to anyone that's going through this. So many of you are or have gone through this in the past. And we're acknowledging that you are no longer partners, but you're still a co-parenting team. And so let the this goes without saying, but that your children's well-being is what should guide as many decisions as you possibly can. Their needs do need to be prioritized. They need to be right up there. But I would say, as a caveat on that, like James just said, although we obviously need to keep routines consistent for them so that there's stability for them in these uncertain times, it's also really important that you look after yourself, like James has just said, your well-being. One of the ways that we can create that sense of safety in our subconscious mind, that, I said right at the beginning that our subconscious mind is literally if you can just imagine you're on shifting sand and your subconscious mind is just grappling and trying to grab any safety net it possibly can. That's what your brain looks like. And so what will help you and your children is creating routines, just a sense of familiarity in some of your in the smallest things throughout your day. That's how you can bring that sense of safety to your subconscious mind that it's craving. So it might just be like, instead of getting on your phone first thing every single morning, just spend some time doing some deep breathing to recenter your central nervous system, to bring it down, to bring the cortisol down, the stress down. It could be just journaling some of the feelings that are constantly going around in your head and just get them out of your head onto a piece of paper. It could be going for a walk around the block at lunchtime. It could be making sure that you are prioritizing eating well. And all these things also apply to your children. Just making sure that they've got that sense of familiarity, stability, and that they're feeding off your energy of doing the same. Keep conversations with your ex as well. Focus on parenting wherever possible. If they start going into the emotion, take a pause, take a breath, come back and go back to the practicalities. So when it feels too hard, we do actually work for some different companies that really, really help around this. I'm not going to mention their name on this podcast, but there are some really amazing companies out there now that you can go to, use as mediators. They've got free tools, and they've got groups and everything, legal advisors, all that kind of stuff. Use a mediator, document everything like James has said, and just try to reduce that direct friction. If it's getting really heated, step away and start doing everything by writing. So the key takeaways from this really are, there's so many really. Your feelings, James might want to jump in, but your feelings are valid. Okay. Please be gentle with yourself. I know that's difficult. You're going to want to be moving at a pace that's faster than your heart can go. You're going to want resolutions. You're going to want answers, but your heart needs gentleness. It needs compassion. It's broken. So just be kind, and your feelings are valid.
Yeah.
You don't need all the answers.
Your mind's going to tell you need all the answers, but you need to make peace with the fact that actually you don't need them. You can carry on without the answers.
Yeah. One of the things again is just to be careful who you're surrounding yourself with, right? There are going to be people that are cross, that want to protect you, that want to tell you what they went through, what they did when this happened. Just be careful. It's a confusing time in your own brain. Just be careful with how much noise from the external that you're allowing in, whether that's some blooming influencer online or it's your friends or your family. Just take some space for yourself to just work through your own emotions and see what's going on. If you need to write it down, if you need to speak to a professional, do that.
Remember that their choices aren't yours. And this links back to your self-trust can and will be rebuilt. So it might feel really hard right now. Your confidence might be shot, but you can and you will build it back up. You just need to be compassionate with yourself, one step at a time, and focus on what's ahead, the new opportunities. Because here's the thing we don't see: when it can be devastating when a relationship ends, obviously, and we have to go through that cycle of grief and loss. But when you come out of the side, you can ask yourself, like, okay, like, who am I now without this relationship? And who do I want to be without this relationship? What are the steps I want to take? How do I want to show up in the world now? So it can be a really empowering time.
Yeah, because I just want to say as well, in all relationships, there are elements of compromise, okay? But we also grow and we change. And so, like James just said, even in my own experience, there were definitely things that I realized about myself that I might have been compromising on, or stuff that I actually didn't really like about myself as a person in that relationship. And it just was a real opportunity for me to take stock, to heal some of the stuff that I needed to heal from my past, aside from that person, that were causing me a lot of pain, causing me to behave in certain ways that I then didn't want to bring into a new relationship. And so this relationship I have with James is very, very different because of everything I went through before. And Yeah, it just on that. I just think, you can sit in, I know James has felt like this before we got together. You can sit there just thinking, I'm on the shelf. I'm never going to find anyone new. I'm too broken. I'm too broken. I'm too untrusting to ever find anyone new. And that's how you might feel right now. But that really cheesy phrase of time heals is true. It is true. You just need to accept your own journey, not compare yourself to others, and be gentle with yourself.
Listeners, I don't know if enjoyed is the right word for that one. I know it's a very raw subject, but I hope you found it useful, interesting, engaging. Listen, if you know someone that would benefit from listening to this, then share it, recommend it. As always, please like it, give us a lovely review. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop us an email, team@themidlifementors.com. Find us on our socials @midlifementors. And we'll speak to you next time.
Sending lots of love. Bye.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And don't forget to take the Midlife Reset Audit now to receive personalised insights into what's holding you back from living your healthiest, happiest midlife. So go ahead and take the audit now at themidlifementors.com/audit.